Live from the Scheinfeld Center Innovator Studio at Santa Barbara City College, it's the Enlightened Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Julie Sampson, director of the Scheinfeld Center, and thank you for joining us here to build livelihoods that matter, be your own boss, and make the world an even better place. We all know that colleges evaluate your grades, test scores, extracurricular activities, letters of recommendation, and essays. But every student has those, and many students excel in all of these areas. So what sets you apart? How can you show colleges that among all of their highly qualified applicants, that you are someone they want to have on campus? Well, joining us to break it down is entrepreneur, UCLA and Harvard graduate, Max Tang. Max was a community college student and later transferred to UCLA. At UCLA, he founded ProDream Education, which advises community college students on how to transfer to four-year universities. Today, this company, renamed ProDream Inc, has evolved into an ed tech company that raised $1.1 million in seed funding and has been incubated at Harvard Innovation Labs. Max, welcome to the podcast, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you for inviting me.
You mentioned in LinkedIn and a Harvard Ed Magazine article that you were previously a first-generation transfer student and that your family moved to the US from China when you were 17, and you didn't speak English at the time. Ultimately, you transferred from a community college to UCLA. So what were the top challenges that impacted you the most with the transfer process?
So I'll list top three challenges I had. I'll say the first one is the information asymmetry, because I came from China. At that time, I was international students, and I didn't know about the US system, basically the college system, the application system, admission system. So I don't know the transfer process. That's the one thing. That also, I was a first generation college student. My parents never went to college, so they could not offer me the guidance. I basically rely on my own. So I have to look out the resources. And then that comes to the second challenge I had, I think, is the limited support. The only support I have to look at is from school or my classmates, my peers. But for counseling service at school, because community college, I think there are a lot of students, but with very limited counselors. Each time we only can schedule like 15 to 30 minutes. Especially at that time, I was international students. They have international counseling, which I need to actually schedule like 2 weeks in advance for a question. It's really their schedule were super packed. So sometimes I was like, okay, wait, I don't want to wait that long to. Sometimes the question is very urgent. I decide just to look about online, to do the research myself, and I end up even finding a book about how to transfer to UC school from community college on Amazon. And I bought that book and I read it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you found you were having this experience, but ultimately, obviously, other students were having the same or similar experience, it sounds like.
Yeah. That's very true. I actually only give the two challenges, and the third I want to say is course articulation problems. So I will say other students, they facing the same issues, and I do have many my like American peers. They're those like local students. Many of them are working students. They're more complicated. So they they take the class during the night, and then like in the evening classes. So this also delayed there to finish to satisfy the transfer requirements. And I know like many, they have those like work their mothers, they have babies to take care of. So that means they have other responsibility beside the school. So these also other issues other students that are facing. So I think basically all those problems community college students were facing at the time when I was at community college.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We find here at Santa Barbara City College that definitely our students typically have a lot of other responsibilities in life that they're responsible for, at the same time they're going to college. And so with the transfer process, for sure, that's really, really challenging. So according to a Public Policy Institute of California 2020 report, only 19% of California community college students who intend to transfer to a four-year university successfully do so within 4 years, and 28% do so within 6 years. So from your perspective, is this attributed to the aforementioned issues that you identified, or are there now other issues at work? So what are the top contributing issues right now?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of issues. Like I said, there's students that complicated a lot of responsibility, and also I think actually the major one is I think the government should offer, the school itself should offer more supports to students, because you cannot resolve those students' issue very easily. Like, I have a baby, cannot like, you have a baby, then cannot go to school. That's not gonna happen. And also some family that are really poor. That's why the students have to work beside the school to support the family, to support living expense. So many of them, they just drop out. They think, okay, it's gonna take forever for me to finish the degree, for me to transfer. They decide not to transfer simply. So I think the top contributing issue is, I would say, is schools should offer more support. I would say the limited support. And I understand why this happens, and the school has tried their best as well. The limited funding from the government, and also there's so many, like a huge enrollment of the students. But school could do better to help them.
There are some recent programs that have come into fruition, such as the CSU Associate Degree to Transfer and the Transfer Admission Guarantee programs. Have you found that these are actually helping the rates, or are there further changes that are still needed?
Okay, yeah, I think that they're extremely helpful, because early this year, Harvard School of Education, they had a conference, and that conference invited a lot of community college system chancellors from different states. And then I realized California, it actually has done a lot of job, in terms of to help students coming across to transfer to full university, way more advanced, way more ahead of other states. So I think this kind of agreements, really helps community college students transfer, make them much easier. Like transfer guarantee, you finish this requirement, they can transfer, and also course articulation agreements. And you take these classes are approved. So they are excellent, really good. However, there's still some changes I think you could make. One is, for example, many students that want to take associate degree, right? I mean, particularly for students, like for me, if I want to, like before I want to become an entrepreneur, I want to take some entrepreneur related classes. However, these classes are not transferable, cannot transfer to UC school. So I didn't take those classes. So I want to say they can increase more classes to be transferable, especially those practical classes. That's the one thing. A lot more credit to transfer, and also like could be better to have the same major requirements, because there's so many schools you can transfer with a different school, even though they're in the same system, like California State University system, UC system. But if you study the same major, let's say history, if you transfer to UCLA, is different requirements. Transfer to UC Berkeley is another requirements. So it could be better to have like umbrella plan, like under one plan. If you go to transfer to any kind of UC school, for this major, take the same classes. So that make transfer process much easier for students. And also when you have those kind of agreements, that's a lot of information for students to look at. So I think the government, the school, they can offer more supports, like extra edtech tool, even like on the website, to help students navigate those agreements, to help them to figure out the transfer plan. So I think these are changes that could happen.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. Agreed that entrepreneurship courses, they are so practical.
Yeah,
What they should be transferable
it should be
across the board.
transferable. Yeah, yeah,
For
because it
sure.
happened on me. But before that, I was like, oh, I want to take, entrepreneurship, innovation class, business plan, how to make a business plan, this kind of class. It's like so useful. And then realized, oh, cannot be transferred to UC. And I was like, okay, because, yeah, I want to save some time. I want to, yeah, I have to make sure all those classes into UC, take, satisfy UC requirements so I can transfer to UC school timely. Then I didn't take it.
Yeah.
But right now,
Yeah.
I took this class at graduate school, and also I took it on like a Coursera, and I found them extremely useful. Extremely useful. They should allow it to be transferable.
Yes, yes. Oh, I'm so on board with you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the actions that you took that made the difference in transferring from your community college to UCLA. So what made the difference for you?
hmm I'll say I'm very kind of goal-oriented person. So like the first day I arrived at Assembly College, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to UCLA. This is my goal. This is my whole mission at a community college. And then I was like, okay, to go to UCLA, like oh, I want this major, and then what classes I have to take. So one, to do very well educational planning, which I did. I talked to counselors a lot. I read a book and I try to satisfy all the requirements, and then I plan my class very well. The second, I would say extracurricular activities is also kind of you also need to plan this very well as well. You want to demonstrate your leadership. You have to do some community services so that you can stand out in the crowd. So yeah, so I would say I have done very good planning at that time, academically and also in terms of extracurricular activities. I joined many clubs, and I did that because I know UCLA wants students to have these kind of things to show.
So what made you stand out? Somehow you must have stood out. And
Yeah.
I
So
understand you're very goal oriented, and that
yeah,
got you
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, yearly I offer this kind of consulting service right now to my students. Yeah. So for UCLA, if you look at the UC school personal insight question, those questions, the prompt they give it to you is actually shows the student they're looking at. One's leadership, creativity, and community service, contributing to the society. So your extracurricular activity really need to demonstrate all those things. You want to show your leadership, whether in school or you fund your own company, or you're a student, or like you can start something very small, like you lead a study group, but you need to show your leadership. Yeah. So at that time, I co-founded like a club. I was a vice president, and also I was also leading another students organization. So it demonstrated my leadership, and also there was honor society at my college, and then each weekend I went to do like community service. So I have a lot of like hours of community service. So I would say like I think the mission officer that you said at the checklist. So say, oh yeah, this student has a leadership. Okay, 100 hours community service. Really care about the society. That's good. So all those things, combined together, that really help you stand out. And of course, the most important factor is your GPA.
Okay, great, great. So to help other students with the transfer process, you decided to start ProDream Education, which later transitioned to ProDream Inc., an educational tech company. So explain to us a bit about what ProDream Education is and how it helps students transfer.
Yeah. So in 2019, I transferred to UCLA already at that time, and because transferred to UCLA, one of my friends, some people called me like, oh, hey, could you help me with my transfer application? I use my UC school applications, and then I helped them. I was like, okay, maybe I can fund my own company to do this as a business. And then that was the reason I funded ProDream, and I started to offer traditional consulting services. I help more than 100 students today already. And then, I was like, okay, if I want to help more students, because my power just by myself is very limited, I only have 24 hours a day, right? How to help more students, how to make your business more scalable, and especially traditional consulting company. Now, consulting services is really time consuming and also very expensive. So how to make it more affordable so everyone can access this kind of supports. So and then I decided that was the reason why I decided to apply for graduate school, to know more about education, to know more about innovation, entrepreneurship, to scale up my business. And then as you said, my company right now renamed is actually I founded a new company, but under the same name, ProDream, in early this year, because I figured out the solution. I created a team, and at Harvard, I met a lot of other very smart students, and then they suggest some solution. Okay, maybe like for some parts we can automate some consulting parts, consulting services through artificial intelligence, through AI, and then we can reduce your cost, and also students, it's much more accessible 24/7 on demand. You don't have to wait the answer from consultants. And that's kind of the idea we started, to try to resolve this problem. And then the idea actually we involved, because you also mentioned I raised a 1.1 million US dollar. So that's we pivoted. We're trying to raise money from investors. And investor care is very sad. Investor care about the market size. And that they think, oh, if you only want to help community costs to transfer, this market size not really, they don't find it very exciting. And then we change the story. We say, okay, we help students in general to apply for colleges, but this business model, we match students with the consultant. We have AI robot called Dreamy to help to tell students, what colleges they can get into, to match college with them based on those personal preferences. Yeah, this is the business model today we have right now. Basically to leverage AI algorithm to match students with universities and consultants. It's like Airbnb. You have a supply side, demand side. We don't offer consulting service anymore, but we hire those consultants. Yeah, we recruit consultant as a freelancer.
Yeah.
On the platform. Yeah, to help students. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. It's your journey and everything that you accomplished, and your mission to help students is so amazing. I want to step back a moment to when you were talking about what really set you apart, and some things that students can do to really show that leadership and to demonstrate their passion, what they're about, kind of the deeper, what has deeper meaning for them. And part of what we're doing at Santa Barbara City College is a passion project challenge, and where students are identifying projects that allow them to show that leadership, that allow them to do something that aligns with their passion, that allows them to show their ability to take an idea into fruition, to come up with an impact that's greater beyond themselves. And so what are your top recommendations, given all of that, given that they are working these projects? What are your top recommendations regarding passion project design in order for their project to help them stand out from other applicants and improve their acceptance to their college of choice?
Okay, especially for community college students, because you are transferring, right? You're transferring to a full university as a junior students, because you're going to study there in the third year. So for school itself, they want you to know your goal, your career choice, what you want to do in the future, why you study this major. And this passion project is part of it. What is your goal? Like, you're not doing this passion project because you want to stand out in the school application. You want to do it because you really want to do it is in line with your personal aspiration. In that way, you can tell very cohesive story in your application, and this story can help you to stand out. For example, let's say, my story, which I used in my Harvard application, I said, okay, I'm a common college student myself, first generation college students. I experienced these challenges, right? The tricky transfer process. And then I came up with a solution, how to resolve it. I tried it, and those kind of like, is my passion project, right? This project, one, did demonstrate your leadership, demonstrate you're the person that want to do something better for the world. You're working to offer solution for some problem in the society. This is something will make you stand out in the application. And the school will find out you're very goal-oriented. You know your aspiration, you know where you want to go in the future. And then the school knows our school can help you out. You're going to learn this out of my school, and it can help you achieve your goal, right? And this will help you to stand out in the application. So for the passion project, you want to find something that you're really passionate about. It's something you're working on a project that solving a problem related to your major. That's the reason why you want to study this major. You want to go to this school to study this major is because maybe this major has higher acceptance rate, so it can be easier to get into college. It's because it helps you. It really helps you to achieve your goal. Yeah, and the school will understand that on your application, they're looking at your extracurricular activities, and they're looking at your answer to the person answer questions. They know, okay, this is a reason why you do this, why I do that, and this is your goal, and this is why you study this major, and how this major can achieve your goal. So it will be very cohesive, very touching, very story to let the admission officer understand we should give you this spot for this university. Yeah, so that's kind of thing. My advice I will give.
Yeah, so it seems like in lining up a passion project in that way, where it really aligns with what's important with one's passions, one's mission, one's sense of values. If students have connected with that, it's a benefit to them because it gives them clarity about, well, what school or program is a good match for me. So I think it can help the student that way. And I think it helps from the institution side, to really see that alignment and to really see that,
Yes.
oh yeah, this is a good match,
Yeah.
So in taking that action, I think students can facilitate that process for themselves, and also it ultimately helps the colleges too.
Yeah. You have a purpose to do everything. Like, I want to, let's say, I want to be a doctor in the future. So I want to help patients with cancer. So my passion project is like research on cancer, right? And my major I want to study is about biology. So you see all those, it's basically a very little steps you have to achieve the bigger goal of becoming a doctor in the future. So then you can tell very good story, and the admission officer will understand. That's why you had this passion project. You start this project to research on cancer because you want to be a doctor in the future. This is why you study biology. Yeah, and also like as I said earlier, like you want to really have a passion. So this passion is really coming out of your personal experience. Maybe because your loved ones died from the cancer. That's why you want to be a doctor to treat cancer. So my suggestion, like I said, is know your goal, and then to have this passion project aligned with your goal. That the passion project will help you to achieve this goal.
So here's a practical question. So where are the best places in the college application itself that students should showcase their experience and accomplishments with their passion project?
Yeah. So I'll say 3 parts. One is extracurricular activities. For that part, it's like a resume. You want to list things you have done. So you have to write the bullet points. So that's the first part. The second part I'll say is the biggest part. you want to write the essay, like in this essay, talk about your passion project. Why do it? What is your motivation? What what have you done in this project, and what is the outcome of this project? So the essay, the second part, and also the third recommendation letter. For UC school and CSU, they don't require recommendation letter, but I know for some other for university, they require recommendation letter. So the recommender can mention your passion project, in the recommendation letter.
Excellent. Let's take a diversion here and take some questions from the audience, okay? I have heard that it does not really matter what club you're a part of, but rather your position as a leader in the club. Would you agree with that?
This is a very tough question. Yeah. So I'll say which club, yeah. So it doesn't matter which club you're in, but I'll say it doesn't really matter whether you're a leader or not. It really matter what did you do, what you in the club. You want to so on your resume, like when us come to the practical part. So on the resume, on the extracurricular parts, you have to really write things that you've done for the at this position, whether it's a member or a leader. Like I think the content itself, what do you do, what the contribution you made for this club, is more important than, oh, you're just a leader. Even though you're a leader, right? You're the president of this club, but you didn't do anything. It's still, it doesn't really matter. So the content itself, what do you have done, right? Yeah, the outcomes of it.
Yes.
Way more important.
Yes, outcomes. That's such a good point. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. How about this? When it comes to extracurricular activities, college admission experts advise you to think about quality over quantity. So what are the top 3 tips you would give to transfer students when deciding on their extracurricular activities?
Yeah, I totally agree. So what the admission officer said. So why? Because many students think, I want to do this, I want to do that. So I have like more than 10 extracurricular activities. It looks so good. No, that's not correct. So like I said, you want to do something that aligns with your passion, with your goal, whether they think will help you to achieve your goal. I can use my example. Like, okay, I was coming across students. I found like transfer very challenging, so I found the ProDream, right? And then when I was doing like ProDream, I realized, oh, I need to study more skills, study this, study that, so that's to apply for this graduate school program. So I want to achieve my goal to scale up my business, to help more transfers, to help more coming across students to transfer. So it's basically like this. Your extracurricular activities should align with your goal, like should has a meaning of it, like the reason, like the why you want to do it, right? The reason you want to do it because it help you to achieve your next goal, your next step. It's like it's like a journey, a roadmap, right? So when admission officer read the application, they see you do this because for this reason, you do that because for that reason, and they'll understand why you're doing it. They understand your ultimate what is your ultimate goal is, and they'll find out like the whole application is very cohesive, and they'll understand your true passion, your true aspiration, why you want to study this major. So you really have to make sure your extracurricular activity that link together and they're all working toward the same goal.
Such great advice. So Max, you are so inspirational. You've had goals and you've attained these goals. And I imagine now you have other goals that you're working for. So what is your top goal that's keeping you focused right now and that you're passionate about achieving?
Mm-hmm. So I'll say the mission. What is your lifelong goal for me, so I want to make education accessible. To make education accessible, affordable, that's my mission, right? And then from my vision, the short-term goal, of course, my current company is resolving an issue to make education more accessible and affordable. So I want to scale up my company. I hope my company one day will be, 5 years later, will be another edtech unicorn. So that's my, I would say my short-term goal. And yeah, if ask me for other goals, I would say, yeah, to stay healthy, to also, yeah, to be happy, to find to know what is your true passion. For me, currently what I'm doing, I realize my true passion. So even though I work for very, very long hours, I don't really feel really tired, exhausted. I feel really happy actually.
Yes, that really comes through. And I think that's part of the magic of passion is that it does energize us, we really
It
hard.
is.
Yeah. Well, excellent, Max. I thank you for sharing your time with us, and I'm certain that our audience would love to follow your work and stay attuned to what you're doing. So what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so linking. So
Okay.
just text me on the linking, and I'll definitely reply. And I would love you to help you guys. I'm open to have a coffee chat. You guys also can come to. Currently, I'm in Boston actually. Come to Boston. I can give a little tour of Harvard Innovation Labs.
Wow,
You
that's
know,
amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience and for your openness to helping others, in their journey. We so appreciate that. And to our audience, we hope that this episode supports your entrepreneurial journey and using your passion project to get accepted to your dream college. This season, we're all about putting passion into action to craft meaningful livelihoods and using entrepreneurship skills to benefit you, whether you aim to transfer to a four-year university, start your own business, or become employed by the company of your choice. We're all about helping you do that. So please join us next week for more content to help you do just that. Thanks again, Max, and have a great weekend, everyone.
thank you, Julie. Bye.